Hello, I hope you are doing good. In our previous video, we talked about Redux and we explained what is Redux and why we need to use Redux, and also we talked about the process of the Redux when we need to create a store, and that's the first thing to begin with, and dispatch to reducers and trigger the action from the user interface. And today we are going to talk more about Redux Store. So the Redux Store is a plain JavaScript object that provide a few methods that can be called. The application state is contained inside the Redux Store from the store. We are going to be able to read the store and change the data inside it. So the Redux Store has to be created at the very beginning of the application, of course. So if we are using React, that's going to be before React DOM renders the application. So we can begin creating the store using create store method. But in this video, we are not going to start directly from React.js, but we are going to use CodePen, which is a platform you can run your code on it. It's very helpful. So as we said before, like Redux, you can use it even with vanilla JavaScript or any other JavaScript framework such as Vue.js or Angular. So let's start. Let's go. And of course we are going to create a store with const and create store. And also, like if you want to do this with me in CodePen, you only need to do and go to codepen.io, which is free, and just add like the library of Redux. You go like just write Redux and you will find it like state container for JavaScript apps, and you are good to go. Okay, so let's go back and do Redux, and yeah, they just call it here const store, for example. You can name it whatever. It's just a variable name, and call the variable name. So the function create store take one parameter, which is my reducer. So the reducer is just a function that interacts with this store. So well, as we said before, we pass the reducer into the parameters, so we know that two are linked together, and the store know each reducer is going to be interact with. So in this case, the store doesn't know each reducer it has to be interacting with, so let's just call my reducer or anything. So we need to define that reducer, and let's say, for example, function reducer, and there we go. Oh no, my bad. So here we go. So the reducer, well, the reducer is just a function that interacts with the store. So but it takes two parameters. It takes the state and the action. So we are going to pass the parameter state and action, and the state represents the state of the store. So the reducer, when first interact with the store, it's not going to know the state, then it's not gonna exist, and then the store will not know each reducer it have to interact with. So we need to create an initial state to begin with, and then it first starts, it passes that initial state into the store via the reducer, and it can be set as that. Okay, so let's just create init state or something. You can call it anything. And in our case, like we are going to do at the very ending, like a small example with to-do list with React.js, and so let's just call this to-do. Right. Okay. So here you go. So now we have like our initial state, and we have like create store, and the store take the reducer, and the reducer take the state. So the last thing we need to do is the state. We have to initialize it with init state, and then we are going to be good to go. So this is everything, and yes, we created our first Redux store. Good. In our next video, we are going to see more about the reducers and the actions. Okay, so I know right now the things are not very clear. It's a little bit messy. So in the next video, we are going to see to dig deep into the terms of the actions, dispatch, reducer, and we are going to wrap up everything. So stay tuned.